Hello, welcome to Shrink Talks. My name is Elizabeth Daniels. I have a psychotherapy practice in Federal Way, Washington. Have you ever found yourself in a dilemma where you have to make a decision between one thing and another thing, but choosing either one of them will bring you a consequence you don't want to experience? Then on top of that, if you make a comment or confront perhaps the person that's giving you those two choices to choose, confronting them about this dilemma that you're in, that will bring you a consequence that you don't want to experience. So all three of the choices that you have regarding this dilemma will all bring you negative consequences. So then you think, I'm not even going to participate in this. I'm not going to choose. I'm opting out of choosing. Well, now, by not making any decision at all, that will bring you a negative consequence. So you're trapped on all sides. There's no winning. You're in a catch-22. What do you do? Well, that is what's called being in a double bind. A double bind is a form of control without open coercion. So you're not directly being told what to do. The part that's coercive is the confusion. We are so confused that we can't really respond to really what's going on. And so we end up either defending ourselves or trying to explain our way out of it, or we attack the other person and saying, this isn't fair, you're giving me choices that I can't make. And then that can come back on us, because then they can say, what's wrong with you? It's just a simple choice, which can make it even more frustrating. Or we end up eventually just picking the one with the negative consequence that's the least repulsive. But we're still choosing something we don't want to choose. And we think, whatever. We minimize it. We just say, I'm going to buck it up and just do this thing. So this is what's called being in a double bind. Now let's look at some examples of double binds and look at a four-step process that you might want to try to reduce that sense of confusion and the feeling of being trapped. The first example of double binds is when we are given a direct ultimatum. Let's say that a husband says to his wife, you're going to either quit school or we're getting a divorce. So you pick, it's me or school. Now, the wife is in a predicament here because she's been wanting to get this degree. She's been, she's raised her children, let's say, and this is her time now to get this degree she wanted and work in the field she's always wanted to work in. But she loves her husband. They've been married a long time. She wants to stay with him, and so she's trapped between these two choices, and she doesn't want to make one or the other. Another type of ultimatum can be when two things sort of collide and make this bigger ultimatum and a bigger decision, and it makes it even more confusing and you feel even more entrapped. Let's say that you have found the perfect work. You love your job and you work Wednesday through Sunday. That's your schedule. You've worked this job for 2 years. You absolutely love this job. The money's good. It's perfect. And you meet a person, and you've been wanting to meet someone, have a serious relationship, settle down. This is one of your goals that you have, and this person's wonderful, and you've been dating for a couple months, and all of a sudden they come to you and they say, I work Monday through Friday, and you work this Wednesday through Sunday. It's just not a normal schedule. We never get time together, so I can't continue this relationship if you're going to keep working this job. I know you love the job, and I know you're not going to want to leave the job, but it's me or the job, because we can't develop our relationship if we don't have time we can spend together. Now, you can see this person's point of view, but you can't go to your work and say, I don't want to work weekends anymore, because that's inherent in the job. You can't do it for whatever reason, the way the job is constructed. So now you have to either give up this job or you have to give up this person. That's what it feels like that the only decisions are that you have. So now what do we do here? Well, let's look at the 4 steps to helping us reduce the confusion of this dilemma and get us out of the entrapped feeling. The first thing we want to do is do the opposite of what we tend to do when we're in a double bind. What we tend to do in double binds is get so entranced on this or that, this or that, this or that, this or that, and we can't see our way out of it. And then we work ourselves up with anxiety and frustration. We can't sleep. It can get really destructive to our life. So the first thing we want to do is not to introvert. Do not introvert. Pull back and look at the bigger picture of what's going on. So you have this or that, and you have what's going on with the other person, what's going on with me, what's going on. You're looking at it more objectively. The second thing you don't want to do is you don't want to defend yourself. Now, there are a couple of ways we might want to defend ourselves. First is by saying something like, I have been wanting this degree for how many years? You know that. I've raised these children. This isn't fair. It's my turn. We can do that. Or we can say, you're just trying to control me. You're not, this isn't fair to me, and look at what I do for you. We can go down that route. Or we can defend ourselves by accusing the other person. How dare you put me in this position? You know I can't choose between this job I love and you. We just met. I can't make a choice like this. I mean, we've only been dating 2 months. Yes, I'm falling in love with you, and yes, I want to be with you, but I can't make this big of a decision right now. How dare you put me in this spot? That's not going to solve the problem either. So what do? Don't defend. The third thing that we want to do is we want to remember that, especially in this first example with the husband, this is his game, not my game. He's the one that's giving me the ultimatum. I'm not giving myself the ultimatum. He is doing this. Whether he's doing it on purpose, remember, double binds are a way to control other people's behavior without looking like you're trying to coerce them into anything. So he could be doing that on purpose, or he could just be doing it unconsciously, not even knowing he's put his wife in this double bind situation. But whether he knows it or not, it's his game, not my game. So this isn't about me, this is about him. That's the next thing we want to look at. So we might take a look at, well, what does it mean to him? What would make him want to put me in this position? Well, maybe he's threatened by me going to school. Maybe he's afraid I'm going to meet, another man there. Maybe he's afraid once I get my degree, I'm going to leave him. Maybe he wants to spend more time on the weekends with me, and I'm not available because my head's in a book and I'm studying and I don't have time for him. Or maybe I'm not doing the things around the house I used to do, like I used to cook dinner for him perhaps, and he really, really loved that. He felt nurtured and connected to me, and now I'm not there to cook dinner for him. Or maybe we're used to going on trips together and we can't do trips because I have class I have to go to. So we're looking at the bigger picture. What would cause him to do that? And how am I acting? Am I different now that I've been going to school? Maybe I'm more short-tempered. Maybe I'm more critical. Maybe I'm less involved in family things. Taking a look at the bigger picture of what's going on, because that can help us with number 4 part, the fourth part of this solution, and that is looking for a third option. When we have a bigger view of what's going on and we're not trapped in this either or, we can be more creative and come up with a third option. So maybe he needs me to spend more time with him. Maybe I'm more short-tempered and grumpier. Maybe I need to look at that. Maybe I need to do more self-care with myself so I'm less grumpy. I could talk to him about what it is that's concerning him about my going to school. Maybe we can have a conversation. There's many more options available when we're looking at the bigger picture. Another third option is that you might just have to decide. You might see that you've just cornered yourself into this double bind and you're just going to have to pick one of them, suck it up, do it, and back away and look at all of the other components that are playing a part in this, and maybe take care of those so that you won't be put in double binds in the future. For example, the person who's working Wednesday through Sunday and has started this relationship with somebody who works Monday through Friday, well, if they know they are not going to leave this job, they love this job, then they need to date people who have Mondays and Tuesdays off. And this will keep them out of this kind of dilemma in the future. So taking a look at, I'm just going to have to choose one, just tolerate the consequences of that choice, but look at the bigger picture of how that came about and maybe make some changes to prevent future double binding. Another thing we can do as a third option is we can flip the double bind back on the person who put us in the double bind. So you might, the wife in the school or divorce situation, she might say to her husband, I am going to go to school and it'll be up to you if you want to stay married to me or not. Now he's holding the responsibility of making the choice and she's not. Now that's a little bit more aggressive because putting people in double binds is a way to control them. So she's kind of controlling him, but sometimes you might have to do that. I'm a bigger fan for looking at all the components and maybe talking to the person or looking at myself and getting to the underlying things that are driving the forcing of the double bind. For more examples of different kinds of double binds and what to do about them and the exercise challenge, check out part 2.